And I have to do a quick attendance. Since this is our quarterly fair housing meeting, I need to know who's attending today. So, everybody okay today, by the way? Everyone good? Yeah, staying dry with these crazy storms we're getting. Okay.
That's so weird. Oh, there they are.
All right. So who do I have here? I have. All right. I'm gonna say who I see. If I miss anybody's name, just shout out. All right. So I see. Oh, this is like, oh my God, what was that show, Romper Room, where you called out the names? Right? I see Elizette. I see. Who's the one signed on as iPad Air?
Me? Is it me?
Doreen, yes. Okay. I know your voice, but okay. So we got Doreen, we got Maria Becker.
I'm eating. I don't want you to see me eating.
Agatha. Oh, I just shoved a bagel down my throat before I went live. Fabrice, Joan, Josephine, June.
Uh-oh.
I got
What
two
happened?
people waiting. What? You're still there?
Oh, no, you didn't.
Oh, okay. Got June. Latif, I'm going to assume that's Mohammed. Is that you, Mohammed?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Hello, Mohammed.
Sir, how are you?
Okay.
Good to
Who
see you.
else?
Looking good.
Latif, Agatha. Sorry, guys, for this. Oh, wait. Why is it going back? Where did I lose off? Latif. Oh, Lily. Sandy, Wesley. Oh, you know what it is? As new people are coming in, you're going in the middle. Who's signed on as Purple Rain 1?
Me.
Who's me?
Michelle.
I can't see you.
Michelle.
Oh, hey, Michelle. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. All right. I love that sign-in, by the way. You're obviously a Prince fan.
Yes. Always.
Okay, we got Shaquille. We got Marietta.
Should have Connie on the phone.
Light on कर देंगे. Light.
Marietta, Shaquille. I don't see Connie. Connie, you're on here?
She told me she was going to be on the phone.
She told me she wasn't going to make it today. She's at the car
traveling.
dealer.
She's in the car right now.
Right. Okay. All right. Oh, and Donna. Hi, Donna. All right. I think I got everybody. Ooh, whose dog is going nuts?
Oh, sorry, Lori.
That's okay. All right. I'm going to ask you guys to self-mute yourselves because it's hard for me to do
How do we do that?
through Zoom. So in the bottom left-hand corner, you should see a little microphone and it says mute under it. Just click on it. Perfect. All right, good. All right, so good morning, everybody. I'm going to talk quickly about some business.
Good morning.
Good morning. So business has been picking up, definitely more deal sheets. So thank you to everybody who's given me deal sheets. I know we got a ton of firsts and half signs. So those of you that are working on it, we've gotten some new listings. So all of that is, you know, going to snowball and it's going to hopefully bring us back to where we were on track, because before the whole pandemic, we were on track to be higher than last year, which is exactly what we need to do. So just keep up the good work. I'm here for anybody that has any questions. So, you know, just call, text, email me, okay? The beach gods are against me. Every time I try to go to the beach, it rains. So didn't get there yesterday. I don't know when I'm going to get there again. So I might just give up and be here, because then everybody else will have sunshine. So I'm here to answer all your questions. All right. Okay, so as far as fair housing goes, you all know we have to abide by it, right? We're realtors, which means we're bound by a code of ethics. You have to take fair housing every 2 years in your 22 and a half hours of continuing ed. You have to take 3 hours. I'm sorry, it's 3 hours now of fair housing every 2 years. All right. So make sure you do that. Like I said in the past, if you guys are doing continuing ed, if you send me your certificates, I will scan them into your personnel file, because everybody takes a class here, class there, which I have to remember. Helene sent me a link the other day with some free CE. So if anybody needs CE, I'll send that link out later today. So, but as you guys do them, you know, piecemeal here and there, and when it comes time to renew your license and you're like, oh my God, I don't know, you know, do I need, how many hours do I need? I could look it up really quickly for you and say, all right, well, you have 20 hours, you need 2.5 more hours. You did your agency, you did your fair housing, you did your ethics, okay? So if you send it to me, I'm happy to help. If you don't, you're on your own, okay? So, and unless you take your classes directly through LIBOR, they do not track them, okay? It's up to you, all right? So, and occasionally you guys do get audited. So, you know, it's summertime. What if DOS all of a sudden decides to, you know, they need to make some money? Like the state is going to need to make some money soon, right? Because of this whole pandemic. And they decide to go after us like they usually do, right? So they start auditing people and they say, send me proof that you did your 22.5 hours, but you're on Lake George, you're away, all right? Now you got to scramble, and you usually have 24 to 48 hours to send it back. All right. If you contact me, you can say, Lori, can you just send them my certificates? And guess what? It'll be done right away for you. Problem solved. All right. Gone are the old days where you have to go through, you know, wherever you had it. If you're organized and have it all in one nice file, great. But most people aren't organized, as we've learned. So it just makes life a little bit easier. All right, so moral of the story is every 2 years, 3 hours of fair housing, included in your continuing ed. There was an email that was sent out by one of the other managers and was discussed. It's through NAR. You guys know if you go onto realtor.org, you have a whole bunch of resources at your disposal that go over fair housing. All right, so there was a video that one of the other managers had suggested, and I did watch it, and it's very interesting, but I didn't feel it goes very much into like the subconscious of why people seem to be biased, like unintended bias and unconsciousness and all of that. So I don't feel like watching it one time I'm educated enough to discuss it, but I suggest go watch it. It's very interesting. But the moral of the story is overcoming learned behaviors, I guess, you know, especially for those of us that are experienced. You know, you may have gone through life doing through your business doing things a certain way. Now we know, you know, things have changed and we have to be more cognizant of the way we say and we do things. All right, so one of the ways to combat that is we have a protocol in place, okay? So as soon as you meet somebody, if it's a buyer or a seller, you treat everybody the same. You do the things, you do your protocols the same way. So what's the first thing you have to do? Point of first substantive contact, agency, right? So you're doing your agency. Now you do fair housing. You have a fair housing disclosure that you have to do right off the bat, okay? So if you get into these habits, as soon as you meet somebody, whether they're a buyer, a seller, or a renter, and you start doing these things right off the bat, you should have no issues. There should be no, you know, well, you did it with this person, not that person. And then all of a sudden somebody's going to say, well, you're discriminating against me because you know, you did it with this person and not that person. My friend came in and they, you know, wanted to see a house and, you know, you didn't make them sign any paperwork, but meanwhile, I have to sign all this paperwork. Do you see how that could be construed as unfair? So if you do everything the proper way from the beginning and you develop good habits, you should have no issues. Now, along with that, we have a buyer intake form because it seems like the buyers seem to be the ones that, that's where we have the biggest issues, buyers and renters. So on the intranet, and I'm going to share my screen with you guys. Hopefully, I'm not going to be able to see it anymore, so you'll have to unmute yourselves if you have to ask a question. So, share my screen really quick. Okay, so under everybody knows how to get to the intranet, right? You go to intranet.c21amhomes.com, and you eventually wind up here in these links, okay? So for the buyer questionnaire, under the buyer, for some reason, this isn't in .loop. I don't know why, I guess because they're assuming that you're doing this before you even start the loop. But under the buyer clients, buyer brokerage section, there's a buyer questionnaire. So you could just view it, and this is what it looks like. And this gives you all the pertinent information about the buyer that you're working with. It's going to help you to do your job a little bit easier. I don't know who that is, but somebody please, whoever's not muted, mute yourself. So, fill in as much information as you can with this, okay? Who is this? I'm going to mute. I think it's that one. Okay. So here you see the date, the property they're inquiring about, if they called on a specific price range, how did you hear about us? It gives you the questions to ask, their name. I mean, maybe you're not going to ask them for their address right off the bat, but number one question usually is email address, right? You want to get as much information, their email, their phone number. I wouldn't necessarily ask them their occupation because, that could get you into trouble there. And what if it's a renter and they're a Section 8 person and they say they don't work? You need to know their source of payment, but you don't need to know whether they work or don't work, okay? So, and their summary of their needs, types of towns, what their specific things are, and then there's some general questions. So if you do this on a regular basis, you should have no problem with everybody you meet. If you're asking them all the same questions, you'll pass any tester's tests without a doubt, okay? Anyone have any questions on that? Yes, no, maybe so. Okay, and like I said, you can find this on the internet. This form is on the internet for you, okay? So as is standard in any fair housing discussion, we're gonna talk about what are the protected classes, okay? So for federal, so this is anywhere you go in the United States, race, color, religion. Who is that? I'm sorry. Race, color, religion, national origin, sex, disability, familial status, all protected under federal guidelines. When you get to New York State, it adds creed and military, familial status is still under federal. Sexual orientation, military status, pregnancy, domestic violence, victim status, gender identity or expression, and any lawful source of income, okay? So these are all, you guys are licensed in New York State, so all of those are protected classes. And there's nothing new specific to Nassau County or Suffolk County as opposed to federal and New York State. New York City does add stalking and sexual offenses. That's added. Oh, and alienage and citizenship there. You know what I'm trying to say. Citizenship status in New York City. So as soon as you go a couple of blocks west from our office and you're in Queens, you can't ask somebody if they're a legal citizen anymore, okay? Because that is a protected class. Here in Nassau County, it is not. So if you have a landlord that wants to make sure that their tenant is a legal citizen, they can still ask that in Nassau and Suffolk County, okay? But in New York City, that is a protected class. All right, any questions on that? Remember I said, take a picture of this, put it on your phone so you have it at all times, okay? The bottom line is, we treat everybody the same, you should have no problems, all right? Talk about the property, talk about what their needs and wants are, okay? And the most important thing is when you get a buyer or renter who wants to come to you and they're looking to buy a house, you ask them what they want. Don't put your 2 cents in saying, well, I think you'd really be happy here or there. What you're going to do is, most importantly, it comes down to numbers, right? If they can afford $500,000, you're going to tell them, okay, $500,000, you can be in this area, this area, this area with this amount of taxes. Usually that does the narrowing down for them, okay? We don't decide how much a house is worth. The seller and their listing agent decide, well, ultimately a buyer decides, right? Because they're the ones that are going to buy it. But ultimately the market decides how much a house is worth. So if somebody comes to you and says, well, I want to look in Garden City, and you know that the lowest price house in Garden City is $750 and they're only approved to $450, you know that's not going to happen. If you're talking numbers, that's safe. Numbers are safe. It's not because of this, that, or the other thing, because, their skin color, their beliefs, whatever it is, it comes down to money, right? A seller wants a buyer who is qualified to buy a house. And that's what our job is to make sure these buyers are qualified. Okay, so that would not be considered discrimination. Is it saying, well, you know what, there really is nothing in that house, and show them, pull up the listing. It's not just me saying it, it's the market saying it. Show them in black and white. Everybody's got a tablet in front of them. Everyone's got a phone in front of them. Pull up, MLS on your phone or whatever it is. Okay, and show them point blank, that this is what this is what you can afford in your price range. These are the areas. You tell me where you want to go, all right? If we can't decide for them where they want to be, because again, that's bringing our own opinions into it. And what might be good for me, what I think may be good, may not be what they think is good. Okay, this is driving me nuts. Somebody's making a lot of noise and I can't find you. Who's not? Okay. Let me see, did that fix it? I found one person. Is anybody else hearing that background noise that I hear?
Who's making that noise?
Shaquille, is it you? Are you being the noisy person? All right, good. All right, so does anyone have any questions about that? I mean, we're all on the same page, right? That, we let the buyers tell you and the renters tell you where they want to be. Okay, we don't make that decision for them. If you do the same thing for everybody, you should have no problems, right? We're all realtors. We're bound by ethics. We got into this business to help people. All right. And we didn't say, well, we're only going to help, we're not going to only help the Catholic people. We're only going to help the Spanish people. No, we help all people. Okay. People that have money. All right. Nobody says we have to help people that have no money because we need to get paid for our time. So we need people that can afford to buy, rent, or sell. Capiche? All right, so actually I had a little, you guys can unmute yourselves because I do have a little questionnaire for you. I'm gonna do a little quiz. Hold on one second. Maybe I'm going crazy. I thought I took it off the printer, but I don't see it. Okay. So where did my little quiz go? Let's see if I can find it in here. Here we go. I had it all geared up. Where did it go? Ah, here we go. Okay. So this is a situation. Jane Jones, who has a hearing disability, is a tenant of ABC Properties, which has a strict no pets policy. Jane has asked to be exempted from this policy so that she can utilize an assistant dog in her apartment. This dog would help June by alerting her when the doorbell and phone rang. Jane has a device that allows her to utilize the phone once she knows it has rung. The property manager of ABC Properties, Jack Smith, has refused Jane's request, noting that an exception to the no pets policy would only be made in the case of a seeing eye dog. Question: has Jack done anything wrong in refusing Jane's request?
Yes.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, why? Why would you say?
Yeah, because it's
See,
against the Disability Act.
Service dogs are exempt.
Right, exactly. So he would have to make the accommodation. Jack has violated the Fair Housing Act by refusing to provide a reasonable accommodation to a tenant with a handicap. Now, there are exceptions to that. Like, for example, I'm a landlord. My husband and my son are highly allergic to animals. So I can say no pet policy because it causes an undue burden to me. I live in that house. So in this case, though, it wasn't causing an undue burden. And he didn't make a reasonable accommodation for her. So that's why he violated the Fair Housing Act. All right. Situation 2, and don't cheat by looking at the answers.
Oh, where are they?
Irving Patel contacts Bob Broker for help in finding a home to purchase. Bob perceives Irving as being of East Indian descent. Bob takes Irving and his family to 5 or 6 homes, all of which are located in areas with high concentrations of East Indian residents. When Irving asks Bob why has he only shown him homes in these areas, Irving replies, "I thought these were the neighborhoods you would feel most comfortable in." Question: Has
Yeah,
Bob done anything wrong by making this
Oh, my-
assumption?
Yes.
Yes.
Of course.
100%. This is what we just went over, right? You don't decide where somebody gets to live. They get to decide where they want to live, okay? If they can afford it, obviously. So Bob's assumptions, which is based on his perception of Irving's national origin, unlawfully limits the Patel's housing choice. Bob failed to ask Irving to specify which neighborhoods he was interested in. Bob has violated the Fair Housing Act by steering. All right, we all know steering is a no-no. All right. So any questions about any of that?
No.
No?
No.
All right, we're all gonna do our 3 hours of fair housing training, and we're gonna treat everybody the same, and you're not gonna make me mad by violating any of these acts, right?
Right.
All right,
Yeah.
well, there you go. We just did our fair housing. Anybody have any questions or anything that they wanna go over today? Any new listings? Any situations maybe they've come up against? Silence? I'm guessing that's a no.
What,
All right.
Lori,
Go ahead.
Lori?
Michelle? Yeah, go
Oh,
ahead.
yeah. Just wondering, like, how is the market right now? Because, I'm not totally in it. Is prices up or
Absolutely.
like
Yep.
they are? Okay. Just want
There's
to make sure.
very little inventory, so we want to concentrate on getting listings because for every house that's out there, there's 5 buyers bidding on it easily. All right, there's bidding wars galore. So,
Okay, good.
It's still kind of hard to make some buyers realize that they have to act fast or they're going to lose it.
yeah,
I have one buyer who lost 3 houses already because they took too long to put in an offer.
exactly. You have to move quickly, and I mean, we've talked about this a couple of times with their offers. You have to be more creative. They'll a lot of times know your market. When you're taking a buyer out, you need to know if you're standing on a line outside an open house, you know that house is going to go quickly, and that buyer is going to have to be very aggressive on their offer. When I say aggressive, I mean at or above asking. Sometimes even above asking isn't enough, depending on the house.
I have one situation where a house was listed at $699. My buyer offered $700 with a 40% down payment, and they were outbid. The house went for $760. $760.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just happened 2 days ago.
Yep, we're hearing it all over the place. Yep.
What location was that?
It's in Lynbrook.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah, it was in Lynbrook. Yep.
So,
Wow.
but that's everywhere. I mean, I'm talking to more and more agents that are working with buyers now, and we used to deal with buyers mostly in Nassau County or Queens, but these buyers are now going further out east. I have a lot of agents that are showing stuff in Smithtown, in Comac, somebody was going to Ronkonkoma the other day. So, they're going out further east, and the same thing is happening there. So it really doesn't matter which market it's in, it's all over the place.
Okay.
Anything that comes on the market that's priced right is gonna go, and it's gonna go fast.
Lori, like the one on Earl, the 2-family,
Mhm.
15 showings in 3 days. I have people calling me, telling me, "Oh, can I come on Sunday? Can I come next Tuesday?" They're not realizing that there's a line out the door and multiple offers. It's ridiculous.
Right. Yeah, Lynbrook is a hot area. It always was. It's very hot right now. I mean, I had that one on Dawes. It's in contract today.
Yeah.
She signed last night. That was 2 weeks to the day I listed it, that it would, not only did she have an accepted offer day 2, but it went into contract in 2 weeks. So
Yeah,
that's how
that's-
quickly people are moving.
That's
had
a
that-
serious
Oh,
buyer.
Yep. All right. So, the name of the game is listings, people. If you get listings, they're going to sell. I mean, they have to be priced accurately, I don't think there's still stuff that's sitting on the market that's, the seller throwing stuff against the wall to see if it sticks. And that stuff's still staying there because, the buyers out there aren't stupid. They're not just going to pay anything for a house. But, they're definitely, if a house is priced right, it's going to go and it's going to go fast.
Okay.
Okay? Anybody else have anything? No? All right, we'll keep up the
Lori,
good work.
wait, just
sorry.
one thing. I have a new listing at 886 Woodmere Drive in North Woodmere.
Oh, that's Marietta speaking,
That's a-
everybody.
yeah,
So Marietta's got a new
That's
listing.
it's a beautiful, beautiful house. It's mother-daughter. It's got 5 bedrooms, 3 baths, completely redone. $799, very competitive for the area.
Oh, that's
So
good.
it's the Hewlett School District and close to everything. Beautiful house. So if you have anybody, just let me know.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Very good. All right, anybody else have anything? Elizette, you got a couple new listings. Do you want to talk about any of them? Are you still on the call? Oh, wait, you're muted. You're muted. Hold on, let me unmute you. It won't let me unmute you. There you go.
How
Okay.
about now?
Yep, I can hear you
Good
now.
morning, everyone. Hello. So I have a new listing on 347 Keller Avenue. It's a 5-bedroom colonial with a full finished basement, and the asking price is $699.
Okay, perfect. Good. All right, anybody else have anything? We don't have a few minutes. That's a good thing about Zoom. We only are limited to 40 minutes, so.
Josephine, I have a new one.
Well, Josephine, go Josephine.
360 Kirkman Avenue in Elmont. It's a 4-bedroom, 2-bath cape. It's a really nice house. Move-in condition. Asking $529. Full finished basement. And there's an open house this Sunday from 1 to 3.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. How many bedrooms?
4.
Oh, perfect. How many bathrooms?
2.
Okay, I have a customer who's looking for that, so I'm gonna probably show them Sunday if they agree.
Yeah, come. I'm there from 1 to 3 on Sunday.
1 to 3, okay, good.
Okay, get there early, I'd suggest, unless you want to wait online for a while. So, all right, anybody else have anything? No? All right, I'm gonna, as Tom likes to say, let my people go, so. Have a
Thanks,
good
Lori.
weekend, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Sell some houses.
Bye.
Bye.
See you later.
Stay
Bye,
healthy.
guys.
Bye-bye.
How do I stop
Now we
this?
have our coffee and our bagel.
Oh, there we go. There it is. Okay.